Today I'm going to properly rank well-known and hidden YouTube niches and explain to you with data and reasoning why some niches are a good idea and others are a complete waste of your time. If you don't know me, over the last few years whilst working in investment banking, I've scaled 10 YouTube channels like this one and accumulated over 700k subs and 300 million long-form video views. Paddle and pickleball, aka discount tennis, are rapidly growing in popularity, with courts popping up all over major cities and Google Trends data looking really compelling. Given the sports are relatively new, there are few experts with YouTube overlap, meaning there's minimal competition on YouTube, and you could rank really highly in the search results very quickly if you started posting. Videos would be easy to produce as you can just break down news in the sport, do analysis of good players, and cover generic countdown videos like you would on any other sports channel. The only downside to paddle and pickleball is the RPM will be relatively low, as there's not much advertising value in the sports niche, and it's challenging to use footage of the sport because it's all licensed, making you vulnerable to copyright claims. Therefore, paddle and pickleball goes into A tier. This niche has an incredibly high RPM, well into the double digits, meaning you can make a livable wage off of a very small audience. However, there's two crucial drawbacks here. Firstly, you need credibility to have a finance channel. This could be from working in an industry such as investment banking like I do, or from growing your own business, or working in real estate like Graham Stephan did. Essentially though, without proof you're great with money, you have no hope in this niche. And secondly, it's quite saturated now as people realized during the pandemic how high the RPM was because, being finance YouTubers and all, they all revealed how profitable their channels were. Therefore, finance and investing go in C tier. With the current AI boom, there are lots of secondary niche avenues to explore, and not just the obvious ones like copywriting and image design creation to sell on Etsy, which are already really oversaturated. But what is a secondary niche? Well, YouTube niches are layered, with the primary layer being the broad interest, for example, Call of Duty, and the secondary layer niche being a specific part of that game, like Warzone, and then a tertiary niche would be a particular playstyle within that game mode. Anyway, the key opportunity within AI is within AI tutorials, for very specific users of tools for business. Think about all of the Microsoft Excel and PowerPoint YouTube channels that exist. There is now need for a new generation of those teachers, specifically around AI tools, so if you pick a specific industry or AI tool to target, you will niche down enough that it's not completely oversaturated and you will have opportunity to grow. The RPM in the educational space is also pretty good, because you're targeting adults with disposable income to buy courses or tools for their business to grow. Therefore, AI tutorials go in B tier. Programming tutorials are really oversaturated, with ChatGPT covering off basic coding skills now, and it's a high barrier to entry niche. D tier. Science. Really complicated but has global appeal. Unfortunately, the RPM is very low as there's nothing to really sell the audience on. C tier. Politics. Really challenging to monetize because it's controversial. It's very taxing on your public reputation and personal relationships, and you have to be very fast to release videos to keep up with current news. D tier. The gaming, consumer, and viewer base has never been higher, with Steam alone averaging 35 million active players at any time. The problem is, gaming content is so easy to produce that every single game that is released that is even slightly popular has hundreds, if not thousands of videos released on them every single day. Therefore, as a new creator in an already existing game, it's impossible to grow without a huge amount of luck. The RPM is also atrocious, bordering on the lowest RPM niche there is on all of YouTube, given the audience base is very young and games are not very expensive to buy. However, there is hope yet. When new games are on the horizon that are not part of an existing franchise, if there is a private alpha or beta release where you can get a key to join early, you could start releasing content before 99% of other people, which means you can catch some early viewers who are keen to see the game before the release date. If the content you release matches that of the existing popular streamers, you might be in a chance of gaining a following. But you have to be very careful here, because the very thing that makes you succeed could hinder your future. As viewers of gaming content watch videos because they either like that game or because they like that gamer, which means if you ever want to pivot content, you better make sure it's because you're entertaining, not just the gameplay. Also, it's really hard to get early access keys, therefore gaming goes in F tier. Unlike paddle and pickleball, major sports has 10 years of YouTubers posting videos and is therefore really oversaturated at the primary level, and interest in major sports is so popular, even the secondary and tertiary niche opportunities are oversaturated. It also has the problem of almost all of the footage of the actual sport being played being copyrighted, and any video you post may be subject to copyright claims and/or strikes for using footage that you don't own, so sports goes in F tier. And on that note, movies in every related sub-niche of it like reviews, breakdowns, Easter eggs, edits, and recaps suffer the same fate as sports, so they also go in F tier. I actually have a scaled kids animation channel, but that doesn't mean I think it's a good idea. Kids animation is well known for having horrible RPM, mainly due to advertising regulation which protects children from having their consumption data tracked online, or used in advertising, which means any adverts that are on kids' videos are random and child-friendly. There's also the issue of 2D and 3D animation being incredibly expensive. Depending on the quality of your animation, it could cost you anywhere between $100 and $1,000 per minute. Now, you'll see a lot of YouTube gurus telling you to use AI tools to make kids animation, but unfortunately, that's garbage clickbait. YouTube is getting more strict on AI-generated content, meaning they may not allow monetization of your AI kids animations. But also, kids animation is very specific content around songs and stories, so random images, sounds, and text will not hold retention. You have to remember, when it's content for toddlers, it's actually the adults supervising them deciding what gets played, and young parents are very sensitive to what they expose their kids to. On the flip side though, kids animation has huge viewership potential, with even global appeal, and parents will play the same video for their baby over and over. Therefore, kids animation goes in B tier. It's one to try if you have the money. Whilst the viewer base is huge, the fitness industry is generally oversaturated. From fitness challenges to collabs to educational videos, training guides, weight loss videos, and so on. Each of these areas has a fully established list of creators, which it would be really hard to compete with as a new entrant. But beyond that, it's also the most judgmental niche you could possibly join in, and to clickbait your thumbnails, you'll have to be shockingly jacked or do something really dangerous, exposing yourself to a lot of negative comments that are really personal, and that's not great for your mental health or confidence. Fitness goes in F tier. Lifestyle content never goes out of fashion, and whilst there may be oversaturation in common vlog-style channels showing their life as a student or the life of an entrepreneur, there's still 8 billion people on this blue floating rock, and in that there are many, many unique lives that when showcased correctly can have really broad appeal and intrigue. For example, this channel showcases life in one of the coldest towns in northern Russia, and has a personal feel and uplifting tonality. So if you have a life that is somewhat rare and novel, then you're in a really good position to start posting, as there's not going to be much competition there. There's also the chance to build out a strong connection with your audience here, as the channel is very personal and centered around you, which gives you the ability to sell to your audience, so there's lots of different avenues of monetization. Lifestyle therefore goes in S tier. Perhaps the most popular genre on YouTube and Netflix over the last 3 years, crime's a really tricky one. There are lots of different angles you could take to niche down to something not too saturated. For example, you could pick crime mysteries within a specific country or area, or certain geographic features like crimes out at sea or in the mountains, or you could pick a certain type of crime to talk about specifically. But the overarching problem on YouTube with crime is it's just very hard to monetize. Just look at YouTube's policy. It's very strictly against violent content, and it's really off-putting to advertisers, so even if you do get into the YouTube Partner Program, you're unlikely to find any appropriate companies willing to sponsor your content. Crime goes in F tier. And if you want me to rank your YouTube niche, just comment rank down below, and subscribe. It's free.